I'm waiting so that we can do a little political theater.
Okay.
So that it's on camera.
Democrats caught calling masks political theater.
Mr. Reagan.
Are you a prepper? You should be. And every prepper needs a way to have ultra bright lights ready to go when stuff hits the fan and there's no power. One of my favorite tools in my toolbox for this very purpose is the light bug. The light bug is a portable solar-powered ultra-bright floodlight with 3 life-saving ultra-bright modes. Why am I not showing this to you right now? Well, because I'm using it as one of my film lights. Now, film lights need to be ultra-bright, as you can see. I basically just have this light on and then this backlight here for balance. But you can see this is pretty darn bright. I actually had to turn down the shutter speed on my camera from what I would normally do at night because this light is so unbelievably bright. All right, well, let's switch that out right now. All right, check that out. All right, and look at this. This is awesome. The light bug also doubles as a power bank, which allows me to charge my phone. You can see my phone there is charging. That's just plugged into this light bug. Pretty awesome. And this works, of course, because this is charged by solar power. It's also water and impact resistant because it's built from the ground up for survival and prepping. It's the perfect carry-on for fishing, hiking, or camping. I use it in the outdoors for car maintenance, around the house, or just as a general all-purpose stuff hits the fan light. Order the Lightbug today. Lowest prices of the year starting now for the holiday season. Go to lightbug.com. That's L-Y-T-E bug, or click on the link in the description below. You'll get 20% off with promo code Reagan20, all lowercase. Invest in quality gear in your health and help support the channel. I highly recommend it.
So Wendy, I'm gonna take my mask off when I speak.
I will as well. I'm waiting so that we can do a little political theater.
Okay.
So that it's on camera.
So apparently this video was from the 29th of September. That is before the election, but for some reason it hasn't emerged until now. I mean, it's bad enough that these politicians are demanding that we do crap that they refuse to do, but I mean, it's clear that they don't even believe the stuff that they're demanding of us is even effective. Now, I've said from the beginning, a lot of the measures that they're taking in order to flatten the curve or control the spread or, you know, be in it together or whatever BS slogan they're using, a lot of these measures are purely for show. And this here is a prime illustration of this. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. Now, let's play devil's advocate for a moment. Let's say that these people genuinely believe that the masks work, but they're arrogant and self-absorbed and they don't actually believe that such rules should apply to them. And you know, I would accept that hypothesis because it also indicates that the Democrats are sacks of horse excrement. But here's the thing. They have a long track record of espousing ideas that they clearly don't believe themselves. Now consider the term diversity is our strength. That's what Democrats tell us. Not diversity is acceptable, but diversity is our strength. I mean, of course they know that's not true. Think about it. If any of them had cancer, let's say, right, and they were given the option of undergoing a treatment developed by a bunch of top doctors, best doctors in the country, and all of those doctors happened to be white, or they were given the option of using a treatment developed by a collection of terrible doctors, but doctors who happened to be from diverse ethnic backgrounds. Well, they're all going to choose the white doctors because nobody really believes that diversity is our strength. Nobody believes that diversity is more important than merit or talent or expertise. Democrats know this. Democrats know diversity is not our strength. They just say that because they like to virtue signal. They think it's something we want to hear. They tell us this even though they don't believe it themselves. Now here are some more examples. Democrats want you to believe that men can be women just by believing it. Do you really think that Democrat politicians in Washington genuinely believe that? Not a chance. They told the American people that George Floyd rioters were white supremacists. Remember that one? Ha!
Mayor LeVar Stoney reiterating that this was not the work of Black Lives Matter, who have worked towards social justice. Listen.
After 24 days of peaceful protests, we saw some violent actions, violent protests spearheaded by white supremacists.
Investigators are pointing to white supremacist organizations.
And so who's rooting for the violence here? And then you have, apparently, I don't have enough detail to make a final judgment. It looks like some of the militia folks were in there. A young man is a guy that shot 2 people. I mean, and where's the condemnation coming for that?
I mean, we were seeing video after video after video of black people looting stores and Antifa and Black Lives Matter breaking windows, pulling down statues, and burning buildings. And we're supposed to believe that these people are all white supremacists? And speaking of white supremacists, they've tried to convince America that Donald Trump is a white supremacist. I mean, this is obviously not true. Nobody in Washington actually believes this, all right? But they keep telling us that they believe it, you know. Oh, Trump's white supremacist. You know he's not. You know he's not. You're just saying that because you don't want people to like Donald Trump. It's disgusting. Donald Trump and Russian collusion? I mean, they knew that was a lie. They even admitted this. There was a CNN thing where they did this undercover thing. It was, Project Veritas did it. But they thought, you know what? We can convince stupid Americans of this. Eric Swalwell was saying that Trump was compromised by the Russians. At the same time, he was compromised by China. And Democrats, of course, want you to believe that masculinity is toxic. Ironically, many of the politicians driving that narrative are men. But granted, they're mostly betas, so I don't know, maybe they actually believe that one. They insisted that a phone call that Trump made to the president of Ukraine was an impeachable offense. You remember Adam Schiff's fantasy version of that?
And so what happened on that call? Zelensky begins by ingratiating himself. He expresses his interest in meeting with the president and says his country wants to acquire more weapons from us to defend itself. And what is the president's response? Well, it reads like a classic organized crime shakedown. Shorn of its rambling character and in not so many words, this is the essence of what the president communicates. We've been very good to your country, very good. No other country has done as much as we have. But you know what? I don't see much reciprocity here. I hear what you want. I have a favor I want from you, though. And I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it, on this and on that. And by the way, don't call me again. I'll call you when you've done what I asked. This is, in character, what the president was trying to communicate.
And then there's the broad lies, like their utter rejection of Hayek, the idea that government can plan your life better than you can. They know that one size fits all is actually one size fits none. They know that. But they are arrogant, and maybe some of them really do believe that they can plan your life better than you. I don't know. But that's not why they embrace Keynes or Marx. It's because they want power. They know that it's not an effective way to run the government, but because they want power, they pretend that they believe that it is. And I think that the biggest lie of all is that socialism is a viable form of government. Sure, it's viable if you like authoritarian dictatorships, people starving to death, and the persecution of unfavorable demographic groups. Consider the issue of abortion. Democrats pretend that it's a gender issue. They pretend that pro-life conservatives are sexists and, quote, want to control women's bodies, when they know full well that many pro-life conservatives are women. And they completely neglect the reality that pro-life conservatives believe that the fetus is a baby and that destroying it is murder. They know this. They know all this stuff, right? They are 100% aware of it. We tell them this constantly. And you know what they do? They just keep ignoring it. They just keep pretending that they either aren't aware of this or that they don't believe us. But of course they do. Of course they're aware of it. And of course they know we're being honest about it. But here's the problem. They know that if they ever even acknowledged the question of whether or not the fetus was a child, they would essentially be arguing in favor of killing babies. And so they have to lie. They have to pretend, even though they are perfectly aware that, that they're lying. And that feeds into other lies, right? The Democrats insist that men are misogynists, that white people are all racist, that Christians are hateful bigots of all kinds. And they pretend that, we're all immigrants. That there are multiple genders, and that also that gender is just a construct. There is no gender. And they say that fat people are just as sexy as fit people. And some of them even pretend that women are just as physically strong as men. This is something that literally anyone who has the opportunity to physically touch anyone of the opposite sex can test out right this minute and disprove instantly. They know this is false, and yet they still tell us that this is true. They tell us that the courageous explorers, the colonists, and the pioneers were all genocidal savages. Most Democrat politicians don't actually believe any of this. They merely use it to pit us against each other, to keep us fighting, and to keep some of them loyal to them. They exploit ecological concerns for the same purpose. They all fly in private jets while insisting that fossil fuels are killing the planet. And I know I'm missing a lot of stuff here, so please feel free to post more lies of the Democrats in the comments section below. But the point is, Democrats lie. Their entire political philosophy is lying. Here's the Democrat calculation. Well, obviously it isn't true, but the American people are dumb, so let's just say it's true, and Americans will believe it. That's what they think, and sadly, some Americans do fall for it. And we see the same thing with the COVID restrictions. How many times have we seen Gavin Newsom or Governor Whitmer or Nancy Pelosi or Fauci or whomever tell us what we must do or what we cannot do, and then they're caught doing the thing they told us not to do, or not doing the exact thing that they just told us that we have to do. I mean, there seems to be a new example of their hypocrisy every week. So no, I don't think that these people genuinely believe the stuff they're telling us, but merely don't think that this stuff should apply to them because they're arrogant SOBs who don't think rules should apply to them. I mean, of course, they are arrogant SOBs, but when it comes down to legislation that they don't follow, I think most of the time, the truth is, they just don't believe in the legislation themselves. This is, of course, illustrated by the woman in this video.
I'm waiting so that we can do a little political theater.
Okay.
So that it's on camera.
It's all just political theater. Well, that's it for me. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just that they lie all the time. Good night.
This is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, therein lies the road to war. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery.